Today's topic is, on what happened at the Google conference, sponsored by ITIP. Happens that every year. It's the largest Google conference in the state of Ohio. It's one of the largest in the nation, I understand it. And there was really some cool stuff going on and some interesting discussions, some interesting sessions. I know I saw a bunch that I'm looking forward to learning more about the topics.
Well, Roger, can you explain a little bit about how ITIP came about?
Yeah. So yeah, ITIP, Instructional Technology Partnership for Ohio. It's a group of nonprofit organizations and K through 12 schools, and it is open. The membership is open to other organizations that might be interested in participating. But about 10 or 12 years ago, we thought, we need a mechanism to help support technology in Ohio. Obviously, NWAT and the other ed techs, many of the ESCs, many of the ITC centers around the state, we're all doing things to help encourage good, effective use of technology in the schools. And so ITIP was generated just to try and get, a number of different groups and organizations together to really take a look at how can we help technology through conferences and professional developments, supporting scholarships to teachers for training, for classroom innovation, and so forth. So, tens of thousands of dollars have been given away by ITIP in mini grants and research scholarships for teachers. We've partnered with, organizations ranging from Microsoft to Ohio Department of Education to Makey and many others, with vendors trying to, help show products that looks like were highlighted, and we don't get a kickback from these, other than sometimes they do exhibit at the conference, but it's, looking for the best in technology, whether it's free resources or paid resources, and several other organizations have sprung up, but ITIP Ohio was an affiliate of is an affiliate of ISTE, International Society for Technology of Education. Many states have an affiliate to the International ISTE Association, and to me that's still the best organization out there at the national and international level. And ITIP was, the Ohio affiliate, and there can be other affiliates as well, but an Ohio affiliate for ISTE to help get our information about Ohio to the national and international levels. And I still meet usually monthly with the different committees and so forth and ISTE to share information about what's happening at the local level and what's happening at the international level. And the Google conference is, a piece of that. But, one of the things that at the international level and national level that has just really exploded and really only exploded in the last 3 or 4 months is artificial intelligence and the impact that it's already having on K-12 education. And I know several sessions at the ITIP Google conference, and I'm sure at other conferences coming up, you're going to be hearing a lot more about that. Tanya or Judy, did either of you see something on I don't know, did I answer your question about what ITIP is? A statewide organization trying to encourage and foster the effective use of classroom technology.
I enjoyed and learned a lot from the one where they had 4 presenters. It wasn't really a presentation. What do you call it, Tanya?
A
panel discussion.
A panel. And basically, I also heard at another session that some schools have had no talk about AI, and teachers asking, is it going to be blocked? It's like they don't even know it exists in many schools. That's becoming a question of, do they block Chat GPT or the one from is it
yeah, Bard or Brad from Bard from Google itself, and
right.
But so Judy, several schools that we work with now, NWT in total works with over 100 districts. Every year we're actively involved with probably 40 to 60 districts. Several of those have banned artificial intelligence. You can't. I mean, it's everywhere. So I think, rather it's like banning the internet. You know, you can maybe stop kids from using the internet in your classroom, but you can't remove it from their lives. And artificial intelligence is exactly like that. It is so persuasive, pervasive, it's everywhere. You know, just Google Docs, ordinary everyday Google Docs or Microsoft Word. They predict what words should you use. They recommend changes in grammar. That's all artificial intelligence.
Right, and I didn't realize that until that panel discussion. That was one of the things that they brought up. And I thought, oh, gee, yeah, I guess that is, or, that you call for support and you get a person that sounds like a person, but it really isn't a person.
Yes.
And they, you usually can figure that out after a few questions and answers, but it's some of the most interesting things were, I thought, over lunch and breakfast when I was sitting with teachers, having them just sharing what their schools were doing. I mean, they were talking about sessions that they had been to. And one of my main jobs was to keep track of the attendance at sessions on the two different days, Tuesday and Wednesday. And the highest attendance of the sessions was the AI and Canva.
Canva.
Yeah, those were the two biggies that both days I had a session or two on those topics, and those had sometimes standing room only. I mean, the one, there was no room to stand. I mean, there were people sitting on the floor in the back, and the second day they did, I thought it was really good. They brought in extra chairs. They put 8 at each section of tables instead of 6 the day before, because I went in, I thought, wait a minute, there's more people in these sections.
Some of the sessions were
Yes.
incredibly Tanya, you've played around with Canva. We talked about AI. Can you tell us a little bit? What is it about Canva that is getting everybody excited?
My perspective of this might be the devil's advocate, I guess.
Well, that's all right too. I mean, sometimes people think, oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. And it's like, yeah, there's really 12 other things that does it. And it's probably not going to impact your day-to-day teaching anyway. So where do you stand on Canva?
Well, Canva, I love Canva. Do I understand why all of a sudden it's super popular?
Because
no.
it's been around, right?
It's been around forever. And actually it's, my opinion is that a lot of these tools have transformed over the last 4 years due to the pandemic. I think that a lot of the things that we were asked to do during the pandemic had me kind of shaking my head, but I understood it. I mean, I've been doing this for 21 years, and you guys have been in educational technology maybe a little bit longer than I, but
that's a nice way of saying we're older. Never mind. Keep on.
No,
keep going about Canva here.
You guys were hired before me, but
there you go.
I think that the thing that surprises me all the time is that someone says, "Oh, that exists." Like Judy, you said some people didn't know this existed. Well, how many times do we go to districts and something as wonderful as the free resources of Info Ohio people don't know about? And I just feel like, like the Chat GPT, this person hears about it, they start using it. It's all this kind of infectious thing that spreads. Well, Canva, I think what they did was they probably expanded and improved themselves, or got their, their face known, their interface known, if you will, during COVID. And then people are like, oh, that's awesome. I mean, there are some tools I'm hearing from districts that I'm like, oh, that's been out there forever. And now it's just super popular with people. But I think also people understand how to jump on a bandwagon. Like, for instance, when you said, okay, so when I was, 8 years ago, I started my PhD. People were talking about how you can use this, pay someone to write your paper, and that was a concern. Or you could use this thing to cheat, or to help you, to assist you. And we had to talk to districts about how do you change your instruction because the internet changed things. Now kids can Google it. We still have kids who can Google their test because teachers use a book test that's out there. It's on the internet. And so I had my oldest, he Googled, I did, he didn't, and I said, let me see if your textbook is online with your test. And it was, all his tests were on there and the teacher is using those tests. We know that that information is available. That's why our instruction has to change.
So you can, and your child legally, without cheating at all, can see what the test questions are before the test is given, but yet some students probably aren't aware of that and don't have that advantage.
No. And see, all that stuff is out there. So like, so I just looked up Wolfram Alpha. I don't know if you guys remember Wolfram Alpha. And this was probably a good 8 years ago that we went out and we told people, this is out there, people can cheat. If you know it's out there, then you can alter your instruction. Well, I just went to, and let me share my screen. I went to Wolfram Alpha and it, let me get out of this. And it is connected to Chat GPT. So let me show it to you here. Right here. So this used to be a website that I would teach teachers. It's out there. Kids can just type in their math problem right here, and Wolfram Alpha will give you the answer. Now, the neat thing about Wolfram Alpha is it shows you all the steps. So like when I was studying for GRE or, whatever test, or my son was studying for ACT, I took him here and he could put a math problem in to test it. And then, you'd see the steps. You could at least see how it was done and how they stepped through it. It's grown over the years, mathematics, science, all this stuff. But look at right here, now available through Chat GPT plus. And that's the thing. Now we know this stuff exists, and there's things out there that are giving us the answer. Now we have to alter our instruction to continue that growth. We can't be like, oh, I'm going to ban this. I mean, all of this is a little bit scary anyways, that, I think about all the movies where technology takes over, and I don't think we're headed that way. Sitting through that panel that Judy's talking about had me thinking in different directions, where you're like, humans are controlling this, and humans are building this, and humans are needed. But still, in the same respect, there's information out there that's like, I was sad because my 8-year-old, he's a really good writer. Well, now you can just put something in Chat GPT. I'm worried if we don't get he's got a book that he wrote. If we don't get his book out there, someone's going to think that he cheated and had Chat GPT do it. I just feel like it takes away the authenticity of things. That's my hesitation of Chat GPT. And, I wasn't ready to throw up my hand and say, I'll pay for it if they start charging us for it. No, I don't know if I'm ready to throw my hand up. There was a good chunk of people in that session that didn't even hesitate. They were like, I will pay monthly for Chat GPT.
Yeah, I'll pay $14 a month or whatever to have this computer write my stuff for me. And it writes lesson plans.
Yeah. And I get that. And I was wondering too, does that take away the need for certain occupations like us? And I thought, no, not necessarily, because they can go in there and they can say, create a lesson plan using Canva and fractions. I mean, they can put it in there. And so that kind of makes what we do obsolete. Again, we have to shift and go into districts and make sure they understand the importance of how to use this, the safety of using it, the way that you can. My concern is always making sure that we're continually pushing kids to success and challenging them in this way that they can't just find everything on the internet. They can't just go to a Wolfram Alpha and find the solution to their lab project, their chemistry assignment, their mathematics problem, their graphing solution. We got to make sure that there's something more challenging about that than just the lower blooms. We need to make sure that we're challenging the students to push them up to higher blooms. So the create, the analyze, the summation, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, that's my concern of it, because I've already seen over the 20 years I've been doing this, that people aren't willing to shift because the information is out there. They still have question answer, easy question answer things on worksheets that can easily be Googled. And Google's been around forever. Now, what are we going to do as a teacher when we expect them to write an essay and they just put in the topic and then they change it and alter it to fit their voice? I mean, they're still challenging themselves in a way, but you know, maybe someone else, Michelle told me this morning that she's going to put her resume in there. It's going to rewrite her whole resume for her based on these criteria. You know, I mean, we don't.
And this is just the next level up, though. I mean, I've written things, you know, for years. I let Microsoft Word do a spell and grammar check on it, and it's way better. And before Microsoft Word did that a few years back, I had Judy Tucker to spell and grammar check my stuff. You know, it's incredible what it does. And I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it was just like, you know.
No, I tend to ramble, so I get that. But that's my hesitation of it is I'm concerned that my least concern is that it's going to make occupations obsolete, because I think we've always shifted and we figured out how to redefine what we do to make it, you know, better.
Yeah.
But the thing that concerns me is that instruction's not going to shift. And if instruction doesn't shift, then maybe it's making traditional or education that doesn't shift obsolete. I don't know. And that's a harsh statement, but I just want kids to continue to learn in this way that makes it rigorous, in this way that's not tedious, that they have to Google everything. I want it to be worthwhile and be able to move us to this level that's academic and scholarly, you know, kind of thing.
Well, and whatever the tools are, Tanya, like you said, you know, Hiram Bloom's taxonomy. So whatever the tool is that we're pushing kids to that higher level, and that's what we need to continue to do. And that's what we need teachers and regional tech support folks like our NWAT. I mean, that's our job. And there's always going to be some new technology out there. And usually it ends up making more jobs, but only for those that have a good education. So now a good education is even more important than it was before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now you had asked about other topics that went on there. My question is the availability of all the topics online. Like, is that still going to be available for a while?
Yeah. So for the May ITIP conference in particular, virtually every session there's a recording available. You do have to have a paid registration. You probably can still get one for the online version of it. And I think that's another growing trend, and you see it right from NWT itself. You don't always have to be there at that minute to get the information. With the ITIP Google conference, Google Summit every May, you know, the sessions are recorded. You can be there in person, but you can also see the recordings. And the same for NWT. What we talk about, you know, all of the, you know, the key topics, you know, well over 100 recordings available, and we continue to add more all the time. So you can talk to us live, you can listen to us live, or you can watch one of our recordings. You can watch hundreds of the YouTube recordings out there on the same topic as well. But, you know, the difference is if you're at a conference like the ITIP Google Summit or working with NWAT, the difference is, I mean, there is a real person that you can email or talk to, you know, that will respond. And I think that's kind of what takes what we do at NWT to the next level, as well as, you know, many of the presenters at the conference. I mean, we're glad to talk with you. You know, we're glad to explain what you saw in the video, and that's, you know, that takes learning to the higher level. I mean, that's what teaching is all about.
Yeah, and we'll have a link to possibly getting that registration to get on that app to be able to watch hundreds of videos and you know, about the topics, Google specifically. You know, some titles that were there, that Chromebook tools that make sense. ITIP, work harder, not smarter, or work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, now you said it right the first time, I think.
Yeah, the voyage beyond slides with Google Earth projects. you know.
And by the way, we do a introduction to artificial intelligence, introduction to AI. Well, we'll just demonstrate a couple things, and if you have enough time, we'll let you get in there and actually play with it hands-on and help you explore, how artificial intelligence or a Canva or any of these other things.
Right.
But
and there are videos on Canva as well, and AI and spreadsheets and all that kind of stuff. And you'll be able to find that link on our resource page, the link that you see on the screen right now. Then you can go get information about that, get that registration, and maybe get a plethora of information in regards to Google and all the tools that kind of connect to them. So yeah, that's our time. And I was, maybe we can talk a little bit more about that Chat GPT. Maybe we can talk more about how can your instruction change, specifically with a lot of these fast growing technological tools out there, and then how they're going to affect your instruction.
maybe next time around, we'll actually demonstrate it. I can show you the couple of demonstrations that I do just to very quickly show people what is this AI, just how does it work?
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that's a good idea. I think we can do that next week. We'll have to remember that, putting that in our brain. We'll do Chat GPT, maybe some demonstrations next week. And maybe we can chat a little bit more about the things that we hear from teachers and the controversies associated with that, and the positives and the negatives. So, all right. So thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. And we'll talk to you next week.